Carbocycle is proving that organic waste is not actually waste at all. Currently, the world produces about 3 million tons of waste every day. This is enough to fill the Empire State Building 8 times. Depending on which part of the world you're in, this waste will go different places. The developed world will put it into landfills that have leaching and emissions controls but are costly. Some portion of it will be incinerated, most of the time emitting toxic chemicals, if not at least more CO2. On the other hand, in the developing world, most of the waste ends up in unregulated dump sites that consist of some of the frailest ecosystems on the planet. But how did this come to be? The linear mode of waste production is not sustainable. What if we could close that line and make it into a loop? More than half of all waste is organic. Actually, people throw more than half of all the food that is produced. The decomposition of all this waste in landfills results in methane and carbon dioxide emissions, contributing to climate change. Many innovations for taking advantage of the methane produced in the landfills have been proposed and are currently working, such as waste-to-energy plants. We believe this is not taking advantage of the full potential of the nutrients available in this biological waste stream. Even composting is not sustainable when you consider all the emissions it produces. Our process instead takes advantage of the carbon that can be transformed into oils, and this is how we do it. First, we extract nutrients from the organic waste using a process we call shortcut anaerobic fermentation. This process is similar to anaerobic digestion by microorganisms in the waste, but it is stopped well before the carbon turns into methane. Then, the short-chain fatty acids formed are used as food to grow oil-producing yeast. We use a special strain of yeast which can store up to 65% of its cell mass as lipids. This process has been developed by one of our team members right here at Columbia, thanks to the support of Gates Foundation, and the patents are held by the university. The lipid composition of the resulting oil is similar to that of common vegetable oils, like soybean and palm oil, and can be used directly in many industries, including the soap industry, the detergent industry, and the cosmetic industry. This matters because all of the oil currently being used for those industries is mainly coming from palm oil and other vegetable oils, which brings us to the second problem Carbocycle is trying to address. Rainforests are getting cut down for the purposes of installing big palm oil plantations. This happens at an ever-increasing rate to keep up with global demand. The biggest producer of palm oil in the world is Indonesia, which has already lost almost half of its swamp and rainforests to deforestation, half the area of England just from 2000 to 2012. And as a result, endangered species are going into extinction. And all this on top of losing other positive effects from the rainforest, like oxygen production, water storage, protection from soil erosion, flood prevention, and many more. This is unsustainable, and people have started to take notice of the toll this process is having on our nature. Companies like Unilever and Johnson & Johnson are committing to getting their lipids from sustainable sources. Carbocycle is trying to tap into this new awareness. We connect the high production of waste to the high demand for oil through our process, thus closing the loop. This way, we also keep waste treatment close to waste production and oil production close to oil consumption, keeping the entire process local and reducing the carbon footprint from transportation of both industries. Just treating Columbia University's food waste is equivalent to getting all of New York City's cars off the road and saving 500 football fields of rainforest from deforestation. This goes along with New York City's pledge to send zero waste to landfills by the year 2030 and reduce trash by 90%. Governments around the world and corporations such as Nestlé and Subaru have also made similar pledges. We want to make this happen and foresee scaling it up worldwide. Carbocycle, closing the carbon loop.